Hey friends, hi Brave Masters. We're going to talk about a little subject called getting started and where to begin. I just wanted to jump in here. I haven't been in the group this week live anyway. I know I've been communicating with a lot of you and welcoming a lot of new members, which is fantastic. And I just wanted to share with you what's up and what's going on, and then let's talk about this getting started. I love the fact as you guys enter this group, you share with me what you have as your biggest challenge, or your just what's the struggle, what's happening in the business, so that I can support you. And I take those answers seriously. I actually make note of them. Hey, Cody, sorry. Welcome. And I make note of all of them. It's ironic that and maybe not even that surprising, but many of you fall into a couple categories, like your answers and the like-mindedness that's going on in the group. One of them is, how do I get started? How do I get the first client, or at least how do I gain more clients? Another is talking about visibility and marketing. Another subject that comes up is confidence and just kind of the mindset around being in business and staying brave and getting yourself out there. And then getting clients is of course a big conversation. So I wanted to start with at least one of those and talk about getting started and where to begin if you are fairly new in your business, or you feel like you're kind of rebooting yourself, right? And so if you are here live, hi Cody, thanks for being here live. Please jump in the chat or comments and let me know where you're from and give me a shout out. And I love just being able to support you live. And if you're on the replay, the rule is we hit #replay, so I know that you were here. And so the good news is I actually am here. This is my little lanai behind me. I'm living in my happy place for a month. And my daughter and I actually come here in the summer. And then my husband joins me next week from Houston. And hey, Angela Hubs. And so we get to live by the ocean here in Destin, Florida, for a month in the summer. And it's a lifestyle decision that I made. It's a business decision that I made, where I was able to and am able to work from anywhere. And I can be here with you, and I can coach my clients, and I can, it's as simple as technology. So we made it happen again this summer, where we are staying in this condo. It's actually a friend of mine. Her mom lets us have their condo for the month, and it's just really a great blessing. And so this is a resort. This is called the Sandestin Resort, and this is we're on the bay side, so there's literally across the street is the beach side. So we're just a minute away from the beach, and we just love it. So if you're on my Instagram or my Facebook or something, you'll see pictures of all that. So yeah, it's great. Your podcast pitching guy. Yes, you're my podcast pitching guy. You've brought me some great guests, Cody, so thank you for that. So anyway, let's talk a little bit about this getting started. And so for me, when I started out in 2007, I partnered with my husband in our then business called A-Rod Web Design. We were a web and graphic design company. And the first thing I thought was like, all right, what's the fastest path to cash? I got my mortgage to pay. I got to get out there. I got to get visible, and I got to start talking to people and share my business, etc. And so, of course, the way I did it, and social media 12 years ago was still getting its traction. And so social media, yes, is great. And I think also when you are just getting started and you're trying to get your message out and you want to meet people, I think networking is a great way to do that, especially in your local area. Because once you have that first client, once you have, that couple, conversations that, just start to build your confidence and things like that. So I find that, some people are trying to hide behind the computer a little more than I think is necessary, and expect the, clients to just immediately come from that. I think it takes a little more time. So if you can get belly to belly with people, and if you can go to network meetings or attend events or things like that in your local area, I think it can be really powerful. If you're very good and very active and very conversational on social media, yes, it can happen that way as well. And I think Facebook Lives are another way to get visible and be seen, and interact with people. And yet, it's great to be in a room of 20, 30, 40 people at one time sharing your business for the intention of building businesses. So networking groups are a very fast way to, and that is how I did it. And sometimes I advise my clients to do the same thing if they're just struggling to kind of make that shift, is jump out there and visit some networking groups at least one a week initially, and get seen and be heard, and share your 60-second introduction, and and let people know who you are and what you're about and what you're trying to accomplish. Because I know that I've even met team members that way, right? I put it out there that I was looking for kind of a team leader, and just because I spoke actually at this event, but in essence I was in a room with 20, 30 people sitting at a table, and this amazing woman was sitting next to me, and we hit it off, and then one thing led to the next, and we had another conversation after that meeting. And then she ended up being on my team for almost 2 years, so a year and a half. And so you never know what's going to transpire, but if you really want to accelerate some of the get started part of it, I say networking, I say get visible. You will find the message, you will find your words when you start speaking them out loud. If you know what you're selling in general, then go practice the pitch, go practice meeting people, and they're going to say, what do you do? Right? And so you want to show up and be able to practice that. So the more you test the message, the more that you'll know what to say next time. And so that is how I would suggest getting started. I do believe you should be on social media, because the moment you meet someone in person, what do? They go to social media and try to connect with you there, or they stalk you or research you or whatever it is. And which is fine, right? It's a great way for people to build trust, that trust, like, and know factor. And that's really what we're after when we're getting started. I believe it's about building that trust, like, know. And so being face-to-face, in person, where people can really get to know you in a more expedient manner, allows for that trust, like, know factor to go up quicker. And so if that means just getting involved with a networking meeting, I just had a private client. We were talking about this. Now she's been in business for 3 years, and she's actually got quite a bit of clients and referrals coming in, but a lot of it's word of mouth, and only word of mouth, meaning someone else telling you, hey, you should talk to this person, is great, but it's more reactive than proactive. So being proactive means get yourself out there. And so sure enough, she started networking and generated some new conversations already for people that want to work with her. So I know it works. I know it can help your confidence go up. And it's like, sitting behind the computer and saying, I wish I had a new client, is not what's going to help you, right? It's not proactive. And so setting up a blog and even setting up a website is not necessarily the first thing. The first thing to getting a client is getting out there and being in front of people that are potential clients. And I believe the fastest way to do that is to be seen in person. And then you can start to build your online presence, and you can put up a page that says website coming soon, whatever it is. But if you're at that beginning stage, don't let all those technology-based things stop you from getting a client. Having a conversation and saying, this is what I'm an expert at. This is what I can help you with. If this is your problem, I have a solution. Can get you a client without a website, without a blog, without a newsletter, right? Those are important, and they have their place, right? But this conversation is about that getting started conversation, because many of you are speaking to me about that as you enter the group, and I want to make sure that you're keeping it real and having a clear strategy about how to get that client, how to get that first drum of business. And so I just know that when you get into proactive action, things start to move, things start to generate. And so even if you show up at a network meeting, then watch a phone call come in, right? So get proactive. Don't just hide behind the computer. Be on social media. That's fine. Absolutely. However, it's also important and in the beginning stages to get seen. And so let's see, you can look up network meetings or network organizations in your city in Google, and they'll come up, right? Another great organization that I started with, because it was frequent, meaning it was weekly, and it was exclusive category, was BNI.com, it might be BNIinternational.com, one of them. But there's, I don't know, 200, 300 chapters worldwide. Like there's literally a BNI chapter pretty much anywhere. And it was a great organization for me in the beginning. I was actually there 6 years as a member, and I was a president of the organization, which helped me elevate my visibility and my comfort with speaking in front of groups. That was actually before I started public speaking, and I did it intentionally because of that, because I wanted to get more confident. And that was, back in, I jumped out of that group in 2013, which was when I started speaking and traveling and sponsoring and doing those things. So, hey, Cheryl, welcome. Let's see, what'd you say? Oh my gosh, I just talked about BNI and Toastmasters on my live. Oh yeah, your lunch and learns today. Yeah, right. It's a smart move if you can start to network. So don't let the question called, how do I get started, stop you. This is an answer, and this is one thing you can do to, kind of push yourself out there. Another nationwide group, especially for women or entrepreneurs, is ABWA. They're a great organization. There's an eWomen that's all over the country and globally. There's also Fem City, F-E-M, like female, F-E-M City. I know that's more for women groups, but I don't think they necessarily exclude men. But most of my audience here are women. And so, yeah, get yourself out there to be in a group that has an intention called building business. I know Cheryl just mentioned Toastmasters. I personally have not been to a Toastmaster. It's more, I think, about helping you speak, but it's great connections as well. Hello, dear. Hi, Alex. A-Rod Base. And so getting yourself present to people that have the intention of working, their business and growing their business and referrals and things like that, I think is the smartest move. So I'd love to hear your thoughts. Please hit #replay again. Thanks for the love, guys. If you are here and watching the recording, and share with me what are you doing this week or next week? What are you scheduling in order to get yourself out there in your local area? In order to get that client. So Alex, who's my husband, guys, if you want to know, he's a musician. So he does a lot of networking. He doesn't initially go to a network meeting, but he does a lot of networking. He shows up in the venues. He shows up with other musicians, and it works, because he's being seen. So, and people are, it's like wondering where he is and what he's up to. And then he shows up out there in the scene. So that's just one more example. Any kind of industry can benefit from getting out there and being seen belly to belly, right? Face to face. So share with me your one action, your one brave action that you're going to take on, and don't hesitate. Just take the action, right? Just pull the Band-Aid off, even if you're nervous or you don't know what to do or you don't know how to do it. Those are all questions that can be answered later. First, you got to make the decision, then you got to commit to that decision, and then you got to take the action. And that's a brave master. So it's been fun being with you. Yes, Alex, out of sight, out of mind, totally. And that is the game, right? And so whether you're online, you've got to get on those Facebook Lives, you've got to, show up and be intentional about what your messaging is all about. Alex has a fantastic Instagram and Facebook, following, because he's putting his music out there and his bass playing, and so that's one way that you can be seen. But it's also important to be seen in your community if you want some bigger things to start happening. So it's just about fastest path to cash. That's what I'm really talking about here, is doing things that can lead you to that client and that conversation faster than the noise that exists online. There's just a lot of it, right? There's a lot of us out there. And when you walk into a room of 40 people that are a little more intentional about the conversation, then a lot of times it's easier to get to that first conversation with someone. So would love your thoughts. What is it that works for you? What are you going to commit to if this is resonating with you, especially to get started? And even if you've been in business a while, guys, if you're not filling that bucket, if you're not out there being seen and in some way, then you may be missing the opportunity to have new clients and drum up some new business. So let me know what your plan is, and any questions that you have about this. If there's a challenge around networking or a challenge around what do you say, I mean, all of those things I know pop up. But listen, don't get stuck in the how. First, make a decision to do something, and then you can figure out the how later. Meaning, don't let it be the thing that stops you from making the action happen. So, all right, I love you guys. Thank you for showing up and being here live, and all the love, and hit hashtag replay if you're watching us later. And I can't wait to see you again. So I'll do another one here from Florida and hopefully show you around. But this has been an amazing trip so far. We've only been here a few days. We hit the beach yesterday, and I worked and played, so it was great. So anyway, we will talk soon, and I am so glad to hear of my new members that are coming in. I appreciate you, and thank you for your transparency about what challenges you, because that's what's going to feed these conversations on my Jena Unplugged moments. So keep them coming. All right, talk to you guys later. Bye.